Hello, my name is Omar Valencia. I am a fifth-year senior here at the college. I'm a triple major in math, music, and secondary education. I also have 6 jobs. I'm the Zumba instructor here at the college. I'm the Spanish choir director at my church, youth choir director at my church. I have a financial franchise. I teach private music lessons, and I choreograph quinceañeras. The oldest of 3, brothers in high school, little sisters 10, and my parents are legal immigrants. And I was born in Georgia. They're Mexican, and so I was born in Georgia, moved to South Dakota, Minnesota, Mexico, back to Minnesota, back to Georgia, now here. Been everywhere due to family business. Spoke Spanish growing up, was losing it, and then when we moved to Mexico, relearned it all. And my experience at CFC has been really eventful. So my freshman year, when I first got admitted to the college, they wanted to charge me out-of-state tuition, and I was like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, well, you graduated outside of the state. I'm like, right, but I live here now. And they're like, okay, well, does your dad work full-time? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, okay, then provide 8 of these documents. And documentation's always a problem. So we had 7 out of the 8 documents, and so CFC was like, sorry, it's an all-or-nothing deal. So I was like, okay, so is there like a plan B? And so they said, well, you have to live off campus, sustain yourself financially, and have your parents be less than 50% of your income, and be a full-time student. So for a lot of people, that would have been like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to find another option. But for me, I was like, bring it on. And so even though I had paid the housing deposit, I had to get that out of the way, and they're like, it's not refunded. And I'm like, oh well, I have to do this other option. And honestly, even though I filled out my FAFSA and I got a few scholarships from high school and I got loans, I only had enough money for 2 months of tuition. So I basically am not supposed to be here right now, because when you start off college only being able to pay off 2 months of tuition, you don't really expect to get farther than that. But I was like, you know what, if I don't give it a shot, I'll never know. So 2 months came by and I was about to get kicked out of school because I didn't have enough money. Hispanic scholarship fund that I applied for gave me $5 grand and to save my butt for another 2 months. And then the last month, I was about to get kicked out again, but then the education department's like, hey, you're an education major, here's some more money. And I'm like, thank you. So miraculously, I made it through my first semester. And then that's when I was about to get kicked out in spring semester because CFC was already charging me for the next semester. I was fresh out of scholarships and loans, and I was like, there's no way I can make it. They're like, well, sorry. So I looked for help, 3 major departments, and luckily music managed to help me out. And I know they do this for some out-of-state students that they really want here, and they decided to pay my out-of-state tuition, and that literally saved me. Like, if it wasn't for Dr. Hart saving me there in the music department, I would not be here right now. So that managed to happen. I managed to be here for a year. That made me get my in-state tuition automatically, and then I've made it through ever since, because in-state and out-of-state is a humongous difference. And on top of that, just being able to be involved in everything, in choirs, in other ensembles, being active in community, just made me really eligible for a lot of scholarships that have made me get through getting my entire tuition paid for, and given me opportunities to study abroad in both Cuba and Brazil, and even be here long enough to form enough diverse guys where we could start Lambda Theta Phi Latin fraternity, which we started last year, fall of 2017. And so it's just been a ridiculous journey, because on top of that first year, having that struggle of trying to pay off school was also me getting stabbed in West Ashley when I lived in my apartment. So my life's just been crazy with getting stabbed, possibly getting kicked out of school because I didn't have enough money, and then last minute stuff saving me. Everything has just been a miracle, being able to go and study abroad and getting that paid for through scholarships. Everything has just been insane. And that all became because my parents decided to come here from Mexico with only a 3rd and 4th grade education, and them saying, you're going to college and you got to do 10 times better than we did. So that's what I'm trying to stay true to, and I'm going to make sure I make the most of it, because so far I have.